Hello, it's Vidas Pinkevicius, and today I'm going to teach you about modulation. I'll show you and demonstrate on this organ how it's done, how you can modulate to the closely related keys of the major scale. So let's talk about modulation itself, what it is and what it is not. First of all, modulation is like an excursion to the foreign key. It could be a related key, but it could be a very distant key. But more than that, modulation needs to be complete and to have a cadence. Like a cadence is like a closing of a musical idea. So if you have a cadence in a foreign key, that's already a sign for the modulation. Otherwise, if you only shortly have excursion to the foreign key and then come back, then it is called temporary tonicization. Temporary tonicization. It could be like a couple of chords in a foreign key and then going back to the original key. But today my point is to talk about the modulation itself. So first of all, it has to have four main elements to be completed. And the first element is, of course, establishment of the original key, of the first key. That's, for example, we are in the key of C major for our purposes. So here we have C major chord. Okay, let's pull some stops like that. C, E, and G, right? Tonic chord. And how we can establish this key? Very simply, very simple. We can create a cadence in the original key in C major out of tonic, subdominant, and dominant chords. I won't play with both my hands and feet because I want you to understand the technology, the chord itself. Of course, you can play with four parts, but let me first play in the narrow position with three notes only. So this is tonic, okay? So the first element is, of course, establishing it. Five different chords of the C major scale. That was tonic chord, subdominant 6/4 chord, tonic chord, dominant 6 chord, and the tonic. All right. So that's how it's done. You can establish keys with any number of chords, but it's very, very simple to use this type of cadence. So we first introduce this key and establish it with the cadence. Then the second element which is needed for modulation is, it's called the common chord. Common, basically it has to be suited for both the original key and the new key, the old key and the new key, the destination key. So obviously the tonic chord is very well suited for the original key. And for our purposes, let's try to modulate to the second scale degree chord. And this will be D minor chord, D minor key. And C major chord in D minor mode is the chord of the 7th scale degree, right? C is the 7th scale degree. Therefore, it's common for both C major and D minor. All right, so here, this is our common note, common chord, and then we need to have the third element, the modulating chord, which is already the foreign, maybe chromatic chord or maybe with alterations chord. Basically, it has to have some new accidentals of the foreign key. Okay, and if we are in the D minor, right? So this is the key with B flat, right? We have B flat 6 scale degree with B flat. So therefore, our third step or the modulating chord has to include the B flat, or it also has to have C sharp note. B because it is a leading note of the new key. Okay, C sharp is the 7th scale degree raised. It's a sign for the harmonic minor. And all of the dominant chords have the 7th scale degree raised in the minor mode. So, going back, and now the modulation will start with modulating chord with B flat. And this is the 4/3 chord, the second inversion of the 7th chord of the 2nd scale degree. Very long term, but basically if we are in the D minor mode, we have the 2nd scale degree, that's E, and let's build a 7th chord out of this E. Right? 3/3 juxtaposed one on top of the other. And the first inversion is, it's called 6/5 chord, right? And the second inversion is called 4/3 chord. So in our modulation we'll use this 4/3 chord, B flat, D, E, and G, right? So here we go. Here, this is our modulating chord, and after that we need to resolve it, right? And to have the complete cadence. And since this is the chord which has a subdominant function, subdominant meaning that in some notes of this chord we can find the 4th scale degree, 6th scale degree, and the 1st scale degree. That's the notes of the subdominant chord, basically. In D minor, that's G, B flat, and D, right? So it has the feeling and the color and the function of the subdominant chord, right? This. So after that, we either want to have the dominant chord, right? Or perhaps the tonic 6/4 chord, whatever we want. So after that, we can have the dominant 7th chord and tonic in the new key. That's how it's done. Or if you want to have longer, then tonic 6/4 and then dominant 7 and then tonic. So in a way, it could be completed in about 10 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 chords, basically. You could have a longer, of course, cadence, but it's perfectly permissible and sufficient to have just 9 or even 8 chords. Let's build it with 8 chords. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Let's make a closer and shorter introduction of the original key, and we can have the modulation very short. Let's look. Tonic, dominant, tonic, and then 4, 5, 6. 6 chord completed in one sentence, and this is the complete short modulation into the key of D minor. So that's how you can do and modulate to any related key of the major scale or the minor scale. If you start in A minor, you can also modulate to any related keys of that. But you have to have 4 elements, right? Establishment of the original key, then the common chord for both keys, and then the modulating chord, which hopefully will have 4 notes, subdominant or the dominant function. And then the last one is establishment of the destination key, of the new key. That's it. So 4 elements, remember that, and try to apply these tips in your practice. It's really fun to improvise a short cadence and perhaps in 4 parts. Let's try in 4 parts. Like that. Maybe we can do scales also. Okay. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.